Hello, and welcome to my YouTube video. You may be wondering, what is this video about? Or, why is this person talking to me? Or even, what is a YouTube? Is it one of those elastic tubes where you put your face into one end and another person's face in the other end, and you hold it between you and you just look at each other's faces through the tube? Why is this so weird? These are all valid questions, most of which I will answer in this video. First of all, those weird tube things are called experience tubes, and yes, they are exactly as odd as they sound. They're made by a company called Meow Wolf. Meow Wolf hosts several odd attractions, including a Megamart, which has locations in many prominent places, such as Las Vegas. In fact, Meow Wolf even has their own YouTube channel. That's how I discovered them. I'll put an iCard here and a link here in the description, just in case you want to watch their content like I did. After this video, of course. But enough about the experience tube. It's time to talk about the 1900s. The decade, not the century. In the time period from 1900 to 1910, many things happened. These could be good things, bad things, fashion, wars, precursors to wars, and many inventions. This video will present these mostly in that order and by no particular date. So, without further ado, let's get into this. The Philippine-American War, a war that began in 1899 between America and the Philippines. This war continues in the 1900s, resulting in an American victory and occupation of the Philippines on July 4th, 1902. The Russo-Japanese War, a war between Russia and Japan breaks out, with a huge world power facing against a tiny country with seemingly no chance of victory. Surprising everyone, the tiny country of Japan wins, becoming a world power in and of itself. The demand for home rule for Ireland was a political movement, demanding that Ireland rule itself. This movement lasted in various forms from 1870 to 1920 and was succeeded by many more radical movements. The Commonwealth of Australia was formed on January 1st, 1901, when British Parliament granted Australia the right to govern itself. Now, we move on to natural disasters. September 8th, 1900. A powerful earthquake hits Galveston, Texas, USA, killing about 8,000 people. April 19th, 1902. A magnitude 7.5 earthquake rocks Guatemala, killing 2,000 people. I am going to absolutely butcher this pronunciation. On May 8th, 1902, in Martinque, Mount Pelée erupts, destroying the town of Saint Pierre and killing over 30,000 people. April 7th, 1906, Mount Vesuvius erupts, devastating Naples. April 18th, 1906. I'm not even kidding. I was recording that at like 11 o'clock at night. Right now it's 11:32. I have like somebody just knocked on our door at 11:02. Anyway, back to the normal video. April 18th, 1906. The San Francisco earthquake goes off in San Francisco, USA, with an estimated magnitude of 7.8. For those of you not well versed in earthquake magnitude, this is the energy equivalent of just over 500 megatons of TNT. For context's sake, this just so happens to be the energy equivalent of Mount St. Helens when it erupted in 1980 in what was yet another catastrophic natural disaster. What fun there is in that little factoid. This devastating earthquake kills at least 3,000 people, leaves 225,000 to 300,000 people homeless, and $350 million in damages. Man, April of 1906 was a horrible year. Let's hope the next one is better. And of course not. September 18th, 1906, a typhoon and tsunami kill an estimated 10,000 people in Hong Kong. The reign of terror continues and ends. June 30th, 1908, An event known as the Russian explosion occurs near the Podkamennaya Tunguska River in Krasnoyarsk Krai, Siberia. Podkamennaya Tunguska River in Krasnoyarsk Krai, Siberia, resulting in the flattening of 2,000 square kilometers or 770 square miles of forest. It is believed to have been caused by an airburst of a large meteoroid or comet fragment at an altitude of 5 to 10 kilometers or 36 miles above the Earth's surface. And now, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I give you the final disaster that's notable. December 28th, 1908, an earthquake and tsunami destroys Messina, Sicily, and Calabria, killing over 80,000 people. In a small departure, it's assassination time. In October of 1909, Ito Hirobumi, four-time Prime Minister of Japan and Resident General of Korea, was assassinated. In November of 1909, Ramon Falcón, chief of the Argentinian National Police, was assassinated. In February of 1900, William Gobel, governor of Kentucky, was assassinated. In September of 1901, William McKinley, the President of the United States, was assassinated. This was a bad time to be named William. And finally, in the last assassination of assassination time, we have Frank Steunenberg, governor of Idaho, who was assassinated in December of 1905. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been assassination time. And now, in a large departure, it's time for fashion. Men largely wore suits of different styles, such as three-piece suits and what are essentially modern-day suits. They generally wore high, round-collared white shirts, neckties, and derby or bowler hats with these suits. Men who could afford it chose different suits and accessories for morning, daytime, and evening use. On the job, working men wore uniforms or sturdy, practical clothing that protected them from hazards or the elements. That was the men's fashion. Now on to the women. Women were covered from the neck down and wore either one-piece dresses or two-piece suit dresses. Women's dresses came made of a variety of materials, such as silk or satin. These dresses either brushed the floor or had a train which could stretch on for several inches. Women also wore party dresses, which were either made of a lighter material or had a lower neckline, sometimes both. Women preferred suit dresses when not in uniform or formal wear. Continuing on with the rest of the video, let's get into notable inventions and such. Here's a list of stuff that happened. A postage stamp cost 2 cents. Albert Einstein writes a bunch of papers. Seismographs are invented. The first air conditioner is made. The Geiger counter is invented. Marie Curie discovers radioactivity. The quantum hypothesis is made. Tuberculosis immunization development is started. The widespread availability of cars through the combustion engine. The phonograph is invented as the precursor to the gramophone. Thomas Edison discovers the nickel-alkaline battery as the precursor to the alkaline battery. A type of camera is invented that is more mobile than others beforehand, which makes photography more common. The first Zeppelin flight. The first electric typewriter is invented. First radio receiver developed. Primitive indoor air conditioning invented. The neon lamp is invented. The Wright gliders are flown. The first Ford car. Windshield wipers are invented. Lots of people trying to fly in early airplanes. The Panama Canal is dug.
Well, I must be going.
Charge! Charge the blockhouse!
Self-playing bar pianos are invented. More people flying. The early jukebox. Even more flying. Radio broadcasting. First commercial color photography. First photocopier. Ford Model T. Anne of Green Gables written. Picasso does some painting. The Great Train Robbery short film. World's first feature film. Claire de Lune released. Tour de France happens for the first time, and the first alleged hamburger. And finally, a bright young man, an extremely talented artist, and a man with extremely solid ideals, a man who had a bright future ahead of him, who had already lost 4 of his 6 siblings, and thought he had nothing else he could lose. The son of a Lois Trickelgruber. This was a young man who would go on to change the lives of millions of people, and possibly everyone who will ever live. And he was rejected from art school in 1907. Unfazed, he simply applied again, and was rejected a second time. Frustrated and out of options, this man gave up on his one dream in life, and began to seek a new goal. He took up writing, and wrote a book or two about his new goal. This new goal the man had come up with was one that, in his mind, would change the world for the better. This man's name was Adolf Hitler. More about him in a bit. Until then, I've been One Pro Planet. You've been running this video in the background, and you're not really paying attention. And I'll see you in another video with a completely different format from this.